The Mirror Twilight shards are all in one place, and with the Mirror Twilight restored, we find ourselves on the Palace of Twilight's grounds. This dungeon, with its Twilight aesthetic, is a perfect way to show us the Twilight Realm for the first time, and today, I'm going to show you what you couldn't miss. In the palace courtyard, we come across many of the Twilight people. However, clearly many are cursed and have their faces covered like the shadow beasts we have come across through the entire game. This leaves us with a question. What is the mask that is imparted onto these poor Twilight, and what is the symbolism behind it? If we look closely, the middle looks like an eye on top of a sun that is shining outwards. This symbolism represents blindness to what Zant is forcing them to do, because if you look at the sun, you will become blind. Though, with the other symbol being weird worms in a horseshoe shape, this meaning is more easy to miss. This symbol clearly symbolizes Zant's love of fishing and riding horses. Before we even know this dungeon's main gimmick, we have to deal with Phantom Zant. Phantom Zant, comparatively to many other mid-bosses, is quite a coward. He spends most of the fight attempting to summon minions to attack for him, and all of his attacks he personally will make are all ranged. Though, despite what it looks like, is it really cowardice? What seems to be the case is Phantom Zant isn't actually a phantom and more like a hologram, teleporting constantly and keeping his distance in an attempt to hide this fact from Link. This is to keep the intimidation factor that comes from being perceived as a phantom. To make our way to the center of the palace, we need to collect soul balls, and while moving small objects is Link's specialty, Link has never had to guard them against Zant's massive hand. Zant's hand during this section ruthlessly hunts down the soul ball, mainly in hopes of keeping it from Link, but also is done for pure enjoyment. If you didn't know, Zant loves the defensive side of many sports. No matter the sport, if it involves taking the other team's balls away from them, Zant is hooked. This explains why Zant allows the ball to be taken at first, so he can enjoy the thrill of chasing Link and the soul ball with his hand. After gaining the power to slice through darkness from the soul balls, we make it to the central Sanctum. Though the deeper we dive, the more disembodied masks of Zant we see across the entire palace. These enemies actually have a lot more lore than many originally thought. Before Zant was evil, he proposed to the royal Twilight family, including Midna, a design he had for the mascot of the royal family, and as we can suspect, this design clearly got rejected due to its weird composition, and while this isn't the main reason, Zant's embarrassment and sadness due to this design being rejected definitely contributed to his downfall into evil. The final fight with Zant is extremely fun to experience. We are transported through many boss locations we have visited before and have to utilize what items we received at each location to open Zant up to attack. However, this cycle of changing locations is not the only thing that changes. If we pay close attention to Zant, every time we go to a new area, he seems to get more desperate with his attacks, going so far as with the last phase to just flail at Link and hope his flurry will deter us. This sadly shows the deterioration of Zant in his final moments, and in a way shows his regret for allowing himself to be used and left to rot by Ganondorf. And that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed, do what you think you have to do.